go pick up a new pair of shoe I ordered today. I think this one's pretty much done for it. I actually lasted pretty long considering how much I walk. What did I read today? This one was kind of interesting. This is a happy story. This one says, drone mishap brings out Edmontonians' generosity. It's a story as old as time itself. Boy gets drone, boy flies drone, boy loses drone. Like young Icarus flying too close to the sun, melting his wax wings, and Edmonton boy's toy drones seem to share a similar fate. But of course, these aren't the mythical times, and this story didn't happen in Greece. It seemed like he was flying a telodrone, and I guess as you all know, that thing isn't very good against high wind and stuff, which would be my assumption of what happened. It says here, quote, I was flying in my grandma's yard, and then I flew it too high. 8-year-old Maddox Scott told CDP News on Edmonton while sitting on a park bench next to his mom. It went over the house and should be on my grandma's roof, but it's not. Maddox had saved for about 10 months, pooling his allowance, Christmas, birthday money, to buy the drone for about $230. That's horrible, huh? You do all that saving and stuff like that, and I guess within your first flight, you'll lose it? It says, I didn't even have it for 24 hours. He was devastated, said Maddox's mother. So as the story goes, they apparently posted various ads asking if anyone's seen the drone, and I guess unfortunately no one did. But apparently this person who ran a dry cleaner saw the ad, realized, oh, that kid must be so disappointed in saving all the money, and he decided to give the kid his drone apparently. It says, thanks to that post, a dry cleaner named Ronald Sin enters our tale. It says, quote, I looked at it and I thought, well, I had a drone we purchased a few days ago. We tried to fly, said Sin. I tried it for a couple of seconds. It wasn't good for me, at least. Sin offered his drone to Maddox, who picked it up Sunday, only a day after the original drone had gone missing. It's like orange and really cool, said Maddox, describing the gifted drone. I was thinking too, with a drone that he gave him from the looks of it, I wonder if he bought it thinking, hey, it looks like a Phantom, so I might as well buy it. But I'm guessing this is more toy grade. I don't know what the weight of it and all is though. And so in the end, everyone was happy. The kid even drew him like a thank you card, I guess you could say, of sort. And it says, if we never find it, you never know. We definitely learned that there's good people that will help you out when you need. Funny enough, it makes me think because everything's always based on weight for things like the safety for whatever reason, when realistically sometimes that's not the case. If you got something like the Mini, I think the Mini is actually easier to fly than the Tello, isn't it? Like it's more stable and all that with the GPS. A great example of the younger generation, for example, wanting to get into things like that. Basically, as long as you don't hinder them with ridiculous over-the-top regulations and stuff, they will get into it. I mean, this reminds me again of those ludicrous people who just think of themselves for commercial gain, saying they want stuff like this, all regulated like a huge airplane. Get real, that's all I gotta say to people like that. Well, that brings up another topic where I know there's been a lot more people contacting me saying, hey, who can you trust, for example, like to do things like those advanced and stuff? I guess one thing is for sure, you shouldn't support people like that, in my opinion, who go up over the top wanting crazy regulations and all that for like toys. But at the same time, their only motivation is to charge people like thousands of dollars because obviously it benefits them. It actually makes me happy that people are actually trying to do their due diligence, because there are so many people that are basically like a salesman. Like I said, they play both sides of the fence. Basically, they pretend that they're actually doing this to be helpful, and they're for, I guess, expanding the tech, make it reachable to a lot of people. Whereas in the background, they're actually working towards making the whole thing commercialized for their benefit. Like they would not want to change if it means they're not going to make money, which I guess makes sense as a business, but still. Because it even brings up that thought about all that police brutality stuff in the news recently, like in the Minneapolis, and like that video I showed, people in the black community getting frustrated saying, what can they do? Because they've been doing years trying to get change and nothing changes. Well, I think basically in any topic, industry or whatever, it starts with people like that. I mean, if you keep supporting people that encourages stuff like that, what do you expect? I mean, I would say the same thing like with the drone stuff. I think one of you actually mentioned too, which is kind of funny, where you were in some kind of, I guess, group or something like that, or forum, and people were asking questions about things like drones and stuff like that, and you directed them to, I guess, one of the things I made, because it basically talks about it. Whereas the person, I guess, there, I would assume, is commercial oriented, they have some kind of benefit, and they want to try to hide it as much as possible, so they immediately got rid of you. I mean, like there, in my opinion, you need to be diligent about who is doing what and for why in that case too. With that thought of, I guess, riots and educating, I guess, the general public, apparently CBC was under fire by a lot of people. If you guys remember, just a few days ago, a lot of people, including myself, basically watched the video where the New York police or whatever, like they ran their car right through like a bunch of protesters. Like, it's kind of crazy, huh? Apparently CBC showed the same clip, but they cut it off. So it basically loses like all context, like that the car actually kept going. So a lot of people were basically mad about that. And because of that, apparently CBC released, I guess, this retraction. It says here, we want to acknowledge coverage on CBC News on Sunday that did not meet our journalistic standards and practices. We deeply regret this error. And they didn't just give like a private, oops, our bad kind of thing. They actually published like a whole video and stuff like that, so you guys can actually see it.
Before we leave you, I'm going to read something on behalf of all of us at CBC News Network regarding coverage over the weekend. The footage we broadcast did not meet CBC's journalistic standards and practices, and we deeply regret this error. It's about the video from last Saturday of New York police SUVs driving into people protesting against anti-black police brutality, which we reported on extensively. An early broadcast version of this video did not provide the needed context and characterization of the events in New York City. Our team caught that error and fixed the script. In a subsequent hour, however, a technical error resulted in the video being cut short, and we failed to show the entire scene of the police vehicle driving into the protesters. This was a truly unfortunate series of mistakes on a sensitive topic, and CBC News apologizes. To be clear, we did not edit this video intentionally to avoid showing the longer sequence of events. In fact, the complete scene aired many times on Sunday. Coverage of these events is complex and fast-moving, and we do our best to provide full context and transparency in our journalism. We did not do that in this case, and so we feel it is important to acknowledge this publicly.
Apparently, even when doing this, a lot of people were actually still really upset overall, it seems. Like this guy here says, we didn't want you to remove the video, just show the complete clip. This guy says, you are the national broadcaster of Canada. In this day and age, and the climate substandard journalism is not only unacceptable, it is dangerous. It feeds those who believe the media can't be trusted, which empowers those who would see it as degraded. Do better. Can't really say exactly why they did it the way they did. I mean, you don't really have proof. It could have been a blunder, who knows, miscommunication. But at the same time, it makes you think of so many other different things. Like, for example, I mentioned before, it's kind of weird how when they made the error about like that Jonas stuff, the one that you guys sent me to basically show, it basically makes you wonder, like, why is it, in that case, there was no, I guess you could say, public retraction in a video way like this. It was just like a private whatever, like a message to people saying, oops, our bad. Whereas this one, they had to do something like that. Maybe it's just the amount of people, I guess, that were upset about it. And as well with that other topic, remember about all that stuff about fact checking, who should be, I guess, the source. Like I said, I guess as an example here, no one's like 100% right all the time. And imagine this is probably what the mass majority sees all the time, right? So they'll assume, okay, they're the facts, so to speak. It's kind of a dangerous, I guess, situation to be in when you're trying to make a generic determination on who is the, quote, I guess, authority, I guess you could say. Too bad, to my knowledge anyways, there's no non-profit organization in Canada that actually promotes things like, for example, like for drones, like they actually encourage people to use it in a safe way and all that, and basically not encourage ridiculous over-the-top regulations just for commercial gain. Will we see one in the future? Who knows? How does that small dog scare away the big one?
Okay.
And still just pure little
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, tell them you went to the store and you couldn't find it.
Okay.
Maybe they'll be able to make your
Not there. Failed delivery. All right, see you guys later.